My name's Lindsay. I'm going to be your occupational therapist today. And do you prefer to go by Miss Shed or by Laurel?
Laurel.
By Laurel? Okay. And what brings you into occupational therapy today?
I fell rollerblading on my wrist, and I hurt my wrist and kind of my forearm
Okay.
and hand.
All right. Well, we're going to be going over and having a semi-structured interview today. It's called the Canadian Occupational Performance Measure. And what it is just a simple interview to find out more about activities that you do on a normal day and to see if we can just pinpoint some of the areas that you want to focus on, okay? All right, so I'm just going to have you fill out the top of this form really quick. All right, great. And there's three different areas that we're going to be going over, and that's self-care, productivity, and leisure. We're going to start with self-care, and this includes things like personal care, like brushing your teeth, functional mobility, like going from one place to another, and also community management. And so I just want you to think of a normal day, and I want you to think of anything that's been difficult for you in those areas, and if there's anything that you want to improve upon. So we can start with personal care. Is there anything like dressing or bathing or that you've been having difficulty with?
Sometimes dressing, but not like shirts or anything, but like pulling up my pants because it's hard with just like one arm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's definitely something that we can look at. Anything else with self-care?
Not too many things. Just like, I mean, cooking is a little limited too, but
Okay.
all of it, anything to do with like lifting, but in terms of like, I can brush my teeth and hair and
Okay. With cooking, what aspects of cooking have been difficult with your wrist injury?
obviously can't really carry like a big boiling water pot or whatever. I have to make a lot smaller portions because I can only carry something with one handle.
Yeah. Okay. What about like opening jars or something like that? Have you ran into any problems with that?
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I try not to buy things with open jars now.
Okay. And what about with mobility? Do you find that you've had any problems with getting from one place to another?
Not walking wise, no, not really, but sometimes driving because it's hard
Okay.
to.
So you've noticed some limitations while driving.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the next area that we're going to be looking at is productivity, and that includes like your work and volunteering, and work can include like searching for a job as well. Are you currently employed?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you do?
I'm paralegal.
Okay. And have you found that working as a paralegal, you've ran into any difficulties or anything that you'd like to improve upon while you're at work?
Well, I can't really type very well because I can only use one hand, so it's definitely slowed down my productivity.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of paperwork involved, and that's also difficult. Like a lot of people have to bring things to me rather than go get them, and in a fast-paced environment, that's slowing down things as well.
Okay. So you feel like with your wrist injury, everything's just moving a little bit slower.
Yeah.
And especially with typing.
Yeah.
How many hours during the day do you find yourself typing? Is it throughout the day or maybe just one portion of your work schedule?
Pretty much from 8 to 5. I'm always kind of typing, but I mean, obviously not every minute of every day, but the majority.
All right. And you're currently not in school, is that correct?
Right.
Okay. All right. Another area that we can look at is household management. And so that is things like vacuuming or doing household chores. Are there any things that you want to improve on in that area or that you have found difficulty with?
Laundry takes a lot slower.
Okay.
Yeah, laundry's definitely a big one with hanging things up, putting them in the washer and dryer, carrying them to the washer and dryer.
Okay.
Making the bed takes a lot longer.
Okay.
And just general picking up around the house.
All right. Okay, so the next area that we're going to be looking at is leisure. And those are things that you find yourself doing throughout the day that you find for fun. Is there anything that you've noticed that you have been having trouble with?
Well, I'm terrified to rollerblade now.
Okay. So you've been steering clear of rollerblading.
Yes. I do that.
That's totally understandable. Okay, so one moment, please.
Should we pause it?
You don't have to. Let's do it out.
Okay.
Caroline printed us out copies so that we could do this, and she gave me 2 of the same sheet.
I don't think I've rollerbladed since middle school.
Okay. Oh, it's slower. Okay. So the next area that we're going to be looking at is leisure. And these are things that you find yourself doing in your free time. And so we have quiet recreation, active recreation, and socialization. We'll start with quiet recreation. Some examples are hobbies, crafts, reading. Have you found that you've had difficulty or would like to improve with any quiet recreation?
Not too many problems.
Okay.
I used to craft a lot, but
Okay.
now not so much anymore.
Okay. What would you find yourself doing? Would you paint or knit or what type of crafts?
Yeah, sometimes crocheting.
Crocheting? Okay.
Uh-huh.
But you have kind of put that to the side recently. Okay. And was that because of your injury or just normal life? Maybe getting
Both.
busy. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now let's focus on active recreation. So things like sports, outings, and travel. Is there anything that you do for active recreation that you've been having difficulty with or that you'd like to improve on?
Well, biking, because I don't want to just steer with one arm, so it's not very safe.
Okay.
I mean, now I just like walk instead, but that's not nearly as fun. I can't swim.
Okay. And so instead of doing things like biking and swimming, you have started walking until your wrist and arm heal.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And what about for socialization? Things like visiting family and friends, phone calls, going to parties, maybe corresponding through email?
Well, email, yeah, but also, I mean, I don't let it bog me down too much, but I don't like to go out nearly as much and hang out with people just because it's like holding my arm to my side and kind of limiting and stuff that I can do.
Okay. Have you found yourself kind of guarded, like you don't want anyone to hit your arm?
Yeah,
So you're
for sure.
That's
why I
reduced
hold it
going out. Okay. Okay, so That's great. I feel like by going over and talking about those three areas of self care, productivity, and leisure, that we've been able to identify some activities that you really enjoy and that you would like to improve upon or that you've been having some difficulty with. So each one of these activities on a scale from 1 to 10,
Getting dressed.
1 being not, okay, so we're going to look at each one of these activities, and on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 meaning not important at all, and 10 being extremely important, if you could just rank that, okay? So the first thing is getting dressed.
10.
A 10, okay? And cooking?
9.
A 9. And driving?
9.
A 9. All right. And then typing?
10.
A 10. Laundry or carrying loads of laundry?
9.
9. Making your bed?
Like 4.
A 4. All right. And tidying around the house?
6.
6. Okay. And now we're going to be looking at your leisure activities. And that was crocheting.
3.
3. Hiking? 6. Swimming?
4.
4. Walking?
I mean, I can kind of do that, so.
Okay. And what about socializing at parties?
7.
A 7. All right. So now we have a rank for each one of these activities, and I want you to pick the top 5. One of the easiest ways to do that is just by looking at the numbers that you assign to each one, and seeing if you truly feel like those are your top 5. And that would be getting dressed, cooking, driving, typing, and laundry. I'm going to go ahead and write those down, and then if you could just review to see if those are truly your top 5, okay?
Mhm.
One moment. Okay, so go ahead and review this list of 5 things and see if those are truly your top 5 that you'd like to focus on with our time together in occupational therapy. You can always look back on these things to kind of jog your memory of the things that we discussed.
Yeah, and then maybe, I don't know, throw on a 6th one with biking or something. I don't know, something more athletic or
Okay.
fitness-wise than walking.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and look at including something active. So if you were to remove one of these things and replace it for one of your active activities, which one would you like to focus on?
Cooking.
Okay. Okay. And for your active activity, would you prefer to focus on biking or swimming?
Probably swimming would be easier.
Okay. All right, so we have getting dressed, swimming, driving, typing, and laundry. Now we're going to be using another scale that's also from 1 to 10, and it will help us get an idea of your performance for each of these activities. So once again, 1 through 10, 1 being not able to do it, and 10 being able to do it extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like getting dressed, what is your performance?
6.
A 6, okay. And I'm also also going to pull out this satisfaction table. It's also 1 through 10. 1 meaning not satisfied at all, and 10 meaning extremely satisfied. For getting dressed, what would you say your satisfaction is in your performance?
6.
A 6. Okay. What about your performance in swimming?
3.
A 3. And what is your satisfaction of your performance in swimming?
1.
A 1. Okay. The next thing we're looking at is driving. How is your performance in driving?
4.
A 4. All right. And your satisfaction with your performance?
3.
A 3. Okay. Next thing is typing. How do you feel like your performance in typing is?
2.
A 2. Okay. And so that at this time you're just using one hand with typing, is that correct? Okay. We can definitely focus on that in the future. And what's your satisfaction with your performance of 2?
1.
Okay. And the last thing is laundry, your performance?
5.
5. And your satisfaction with your performance?
3.
A 3. All right. Right, so looking at this and having gone through and rated each of the activities, it really helps us paint a picture of what's important to you and the things that you would like to improve upon. And one of the things that we can do in our future time together is looking at different ways that we can adapt these activities or strengthen your wrist so that you're able to do it more effectively. So I'm going to hold on to this, and thank you so much for coming in today, and I look forward to meeting with you again so that we can really work on these things that are meaningful to you.
Great.
All right, have a good day.